working with HIV, when we realized, oh my God, what have we got here? Nobody knew that this was a blood-transmitted disease. So people were continuing to give blood, and many of the hemophiliac community were infected by blood that was donated. It's also true that in many places in large cities is that individuals would sell their blood for a certain amount of money if they were running out of money at the end of the month. And so individuals who were HIV infected were going and giving their blood, not knowing that they were infecting anybody. And for a long period of time, and that of course then sparked everybody to go, oh my God, we can't have those gays giving blood. And it really is the outgrowth of that kind of fear and that kind of early history. The problem is that they have stuck with that history all these many years, even though we know now that all the blood is tested. And I love it that they are saying that they can do blood drives on campuses because, of course, of the 30,000 students we have, none of them are sexually active. So we don't have to worry about them giving tainted blood because of their sexual activities in any kind of way. But that's really the history, and so I understand why they're having a little difficult. Of course, you know, they haven't changed, even though they've been encouraged to change by a number of really solid scientific evidence.
Any other questions?
I was wondering, you commented that none of the other colleges have acted in any way. I was wondering, I don't know if you go into specifics, but the general kind of feedback that you've gotten from your colleagues and from the state level after this decision.
Well, the one college that has followed us on this is San Jose City College, Community College District, Rosa Perez. And Rosa and I had talked about this probably back in, I want to say it was in January. I sensed in a lunch meeting I had with her that she was going to do this. And she understood it like that. It was fascinating how quickly she was lined up on the issue and understood it. I think she did her own research, you know, and I think anybody who walks up to this should, you know, necessarily rely on somebody else's work. I've told a couple of people this tonight. When we made this decision, the way I describe it is that the reactions to what we did came in 4 buckets. One was a very nasty, mean, ugly, anti-gay set of correspondence or messages that we got. Second one, the collection I would describe as that people thought we were trying to be politically correct, which I thought was very interesting but very superficial. The third group of responses that we got was wrapped around, clearly they valued the blood supply over cess rights. I mean, it was so clear. It was just, I mean, they picked one value over the other. And then the fourth correspondence or responses that we got, which I would argue is probably 40 to 45% of the responses that we got, is what we label, and we've begun to label the informed view. They understood the issue. They paid attention to it. They understood this history that Wiggsy just talked about a minute ago. It goes back to about 1977 or 78. That science is, the testing that can be done today changes this whole debate, this whole discussion, and that the FDA arguments on this really need to be looked at. We've had very productive conversations with Barbara Boxer's office, Mike Honda's office, and Zoe Lochman's office, and we sense that there may be some interesting conversations and maybe even an effort to try to fund some additional research on this and question the FDA on it. You guys need to ask another question or two.
Let me say one thing that I think is important for everybody to hear and what you need to repeat to other ones. We never said to anybody, don't give blood. We never said that to anybody. When the blood bank people came and tried to con us and manipulate us and stuff like that, we never said, don't give blood. What we said is we will not accommodate a blood drive on our campus. And that anybody off our campus can go and give blood anytime they want. Now the interesting thing is that about 40% of the blood that's in California comes from out of the state. So what does that tell you? For all the jazz that we took, is that a lot of people are not giving blood who are capable of giving blood. But it's important for you to pass on to others. We never said don't give blood. We never said we want you to stop. We just said we're not going to accommodate you because of the discrimination against gay men.
It seems to me like they're trying to put the onus on our community for the fact that they're not doing a good enough job doing blood drives and getting just everybody in the population to give blood. Can you comment on that?
Yeah, I think they're trying to do it. I think in truth, the blood banks are really strapped. I think they are limited staff. They don't have a lot of resources, and it's obviously simpler to come to a campus and park your van in the middle of the campus and everybody kind of flows to it. When they talked to me, I said, park your van on the street, I don't care. But, you know, people should give blood. The problem for me is I feel like the citizens of California are being very socially irresponsible. You know, when they start talking about, well, there's not enough blood, I said, have you given blood recently? All my straight friends. Oh, well, no. You know, well, I said, maybe you ought to get your ass downtown and go get it. You know, because but the blood banks really truthfully are strapped. And in fairness to them.
They're putting it on our back.
Well, everybody's trying to put it on our back, because, you know, those queers again.
There's different things though, because they're just not spending enough time and money to test it. So that's where you're running into issues.
Say one more time, I'm sorry, I'm a little hard of hearing.
Issues because they're not fully screening it, so they're not testing it, so that's why you're having blood that's not necessarily qualified to go through the system.
Actually, I want to speak to that. What a lot of people don't realize is the reasoning out there is that people are saying that men who have slept with men shouldn't be able to give blood because they're not putting time and effort. All blood is tested and has been since 1984.
But you've had samples that have gone, or you've had blood that's gone through that wasn't tested properly or whatever.
There is definitely blood that has gone through that hasn't been tested properly or that didn't show up. But the thing is, there are no statistics to show where that blood came from. We don't know that they came from men who have slept with men. There's no way of knowing that. I think one of the biggest issues is the wording of the policy. The way the policy is worded is that any man who's had sexual relations with another man since 1977. I don't know about everybody in this room, but that's before I was born. Now, just the point of that is, only a year.
Braggart.
I know. But the point of that is that you could have two men who are in a monogamous relationship, who have not had relations with anybody but each other in years and years and years, who are perfectly healthy and perfectly safe, and they can't give blood because of the impression that gay men are promiscuous. There's a societal thought out there that all gay men are out there just having their heyday constantly and doing it unsafely and spreading everything everywhere. In truth, statistics show now that gay men are not the highest risk population. Pardon? Even within that, just racially, ethnically, all that, there's many other groups that actually are ranking above, including single straight men in the military. Is a higher risk group currently than gay men. But can you imagine if they were to try to say military employees cannot give blood? They hide those statistics. And that's the thing. The difference between this and other groups that are banned is that other groups are banned because of choices they've made in their life. They're banned because of intravenous drug use. They're banned because they have a recent tattoo, which may be in a situation in which they haven't been able to detect yet. But they're not being banned because of identifying as who they are.
What if the FDA policy was changed where you would still be able to give blood, but you would self-identify by certain characteristics which the doctors determines higher risk, and your blood would just be labeled like for research purposes only, not to transfuse? Would you feel less like your rights were being violated?
Personally, I don't know, it's a tough one.
Because it's just, I think the medical community, beyond HIV, there's hepatitis, there's HPV,
Absolutely.
there's a whole other things, and I don't know the statistics, I'm not going to try to pretend I do, but I can see where they are trying to discriminate you individually because maybe you're not promiscuous and your blood is totally pure, but
the medical community has to look at certain criteria, lifestyle choices, sexual identity, etc.